Here we have the requirements for the 3D model to be created in Autocad. First requirement, the object should be named as a layered object with white color, continuous, and 0.6 mm. So let's create it. Hidden shall be magenta, hidden line type 0.3. Let's create this object in Autocad using the 3D model. Now let's go to Autocad and let's set the settings. Currently it's in 2D or drafting and annotation settings. So let's go to settings and set this into 3D mode. Here the icons will change, as you can see. And now we can go to view and set our view into southwest or southeast isometric. So let's create our base of the object, which is 55 and 80. So here we can go to home and let's use either the rectangle, and let's set it to 55, 80. Okay, it's around 55, 80. Enter. So basically this is 55 and this is 80. Now we can use the press and pull to create the 3D object. We'll go upwards and set it into our object height, which is about 15 mm. So let's say 15. So now here you can see this is the front side and this is the right side. So now we need to create this triangular shape, and we need to do it in the right side of this rectangle. So let's set it into view, go to right, and now we can create the triangular shape. First is at the center, there will be about 30 mm height, and this is about 20 mm gap and 50 mm depth. So what we need to do first is go to home, use line, 30. Now let's create the depth, which is 15, which is the midpoint of 30, and let's create this as 10, and let's go back to 15, and here we can see that it's 40 minus 20 divided by 2 is 10, so let's create 10, and now it will have to connect to this object and close the object. Let's erase this line, or let's select this line, and then let's create mirror from one side to the other side. No, erase the reference line. Now we have created the right side of the back. Now we're going to use the pedit command to join all this line into one polyline. So if you don't convert or join them, it will not press and pull. It will press and pull, but only on the shape from each of the segments of the line. So let's type in pedit, select multiple, select all the lines, and then enter. Click yes, join, and then enter and escape. So now if you select it, it will be a closed polyline object. So now we can use the press and pull command, select the object, and let's select 25. So now the object has been created. Let's view it on southeast isometric view. Let's see it. This is the shape. Now let's use the render command to view this as a shaded of gray. So if you can see, we have already created this view, this gap, 15, 20, 40, and all the height is 30. Now let's add in the circle on the center, which is 16 mm diameter and 15 mm from the edge of the rectangle. Now let's draw a reference line on this side. Here the dimension is 15 mm from the edge, and the dimensions of the circle will be 8 or 16 mm diameter. So let's go to home, line, select the middle point, and select and enter 50, enter. That will be our reference point for this center of the circle. Select and key in 8 for the radius. Let's remove the reference line. Erase, sorry, undo, or let's select it, then erase. Now let's use press and pull and select this circle and press it, pull it downward so it will create a void on the rectangle shape. So as you can see, it has created an opening and the circle or void has been created at the center of the rectangle. So now let's go back to view, set it to isometric, S is isometric once again, and now let's place in the dimensions based on this, and then we will check as reference if we have actually followed all these dimensions as required. Now let's place in our dimension and check if we have all the correct dimensions as mentioned here, but there is a requirement for the dimension to be in cyan color, continuous, and 0.3 mm. So let's set the dimensions tab. We need to go to annotate, and here you can see the dimensions tab. Scroll down and go to manage the dimensions. Now currently the color of the lines is white and it should be cyan, so let's create new and a copy of the ISO 22. Let's rename this as cyan. Continue. Now here the lines, we need to set it at cyan, and the line type will be continuous. Line weight is 0.3. Here also the extension lines will be cyan, and the text, they didn't mention the color, but I think it will be much better if we set it as yellow. Click OK, click closed. Now the cyan, make sure the cyan ISO 25 is set as current and set the dimensions. So currently the UCS is X and Y, so we can set the dimension 80, which is correct. Here is 55 and 30 mm for this dimension. So let's set it here. So now let's set the UCS on this side so we can place in the dimension. Type in UCS. Click here as the center, X and Y. Set the dimension from this edge to this edge and pull it out so it's 30. Let's move it so it's undo. Dimension 30. So here it's set as 30 height should be 15. Now we need to complete first all the dimensions. Okay, so now let's go to the other side for the dimension, which is this 16 and 15. So dimension from edge, from the center to the edge should be 15. Dimensions of the circle is 16 mm. So here we have it at 15, but it's on the opposite side, so let's erase this dimension and delete dimension. Let's go to the center edge and set it as 15. Okay, let's set this dimension to 16 mm, so that it looks much better. Now let's see if we can place some dimension on top. So let's set the UCS first on this side. So UCS, so X, so UCS, select the edge, set it here, and select this. Now set the dimension. The edge is 15, which is correct. Let's set this dimension. So it has to be on this side, so let's set the UCS again. So here we can use this edge, X, and the Y is here. So let's set the dimension 15, which is correct, and from this is 30. Which is also correct, 30. So now we need to set this dimension, so we have to reset the UCS here on this side. This is the UCS. This is the endpoint. UCS. Let's use the other side so we can create the X and Y. Here is the X and this is the Y. So now let's use the dimension. Endpoint. Endpoint is 40. Endpoint to endpoint is 20. So now let's hide this UCS icon. Just key in UCS icon and then set no origin, so we can hide that UCS icon and we can see the objects much more clearly. So that is how to create this object and place the dimension based on the requirements. We have missed out this one, so let's add in. Still the same. So now we have created the object based on these requirements, following the requirements of object Y continuous, dimensions, and center should be red, but we don't have any dimensions, so we don't need to place any center. So that is to create a 3D object in AutoCAD. Thank you.